wow, Nuno's gone. Ange Postecoglou about to be announced officially, but we know that he's agreed a deal to become the next Nottingham Forest head coach. Can you believe it, Rob?
I can't believe it. This morning, I'm just... First of all, wow, Nuno gets sacked. Second of all, wow, Ange is now going to be the new manager. Very quick, very sharp, making the decisions. But I just... I mean, listen, put it this way. It's not going to be boring, and it's going to be a fun ride at Nottingham Forest, as it continues to be. So it's incredible, incredible. But I would say, I think Ange is a very good manager. Yeah. And I think he's going to take a lot of lessons from being sacked, from everything that went on at Tottenham. Yes, he won, but the process of how it went about, I think he's going to learn from. So I think Nottingham Forest might just have somebody who's ready for that job to take him to the next level.
Some of the tales, some of the stories, some of the narratives that football throws up, and this is not the first time it's happened, just incredible. And it should never surprise us, football, should it? I mean, Sir Alex had the quote, didn't he, which I'm not going to repeat, but there we go. This contract, by the way, we think is going to be until the summer of 2027, so a 2-year deal. That announcement could come as soon as today. And his first game, Rob, is set to be away in the dugout at the old enemy, at the Emirates, as a former Tottenham boss. You cannot script that.
Incredible, incredible. They could have played any other team. Do you think he's going to get a few boos? I mean, yeah. I mean, that's what we love about football. These things, these stories. First game, yeah, it's against your old rivals, direct rivals at Arsenal. I mean, what a game to come into. And do you know what? Arsenal are brilliant, and Forest still yet to hit, kind of find their rhythm. But it's going to give Ange a big, big lesson in who he has in the dressing room, what players he has, playing against one of the best teams in the league. I think it's going to show him a lot in that first game, because as players, you also kind of react when a new manager, you want to impress the new manager that comes in. So who is going to be that one? Who's going to be the team and the players that react to actually Ange coming in and impress him?
From the outside, does this seem to you a marriage made in heaven? They are two very big characters. I know Nuno was stubborn as well, but Postecoglou probably on the stubborn percentage slightly higher.
Oh, he is, yeah. And listen, there's sometimes nothing wrong with that. You as a top manager, you've got to have that backbone. You've got to have been a little bit stubborn at times, because you've got your idea. You can see pictures before the players, before the owner, before even all the fans. So you've got to have a bit of stubbornness to be a top manager. So he's got that. You've just got to tweak it in order to get, results, use your stubbornness in the right way, and all your philosophy and your tactics. But I just think that Nottingham Forest, the players that they have right now, is going to be very good for Ange. I think he's going to be excited to piece together that Nottingham Forest team. The question is now who is in that best 11, because Nottingham Forest are way better than 1 year ago. Their squad is way better than 1 year ago, and you've now got genuine competition for places. Who does Ange pick?
And we want to hear from you on exactly that as well. Let's get the thoughts from the fans, Rob, because this is what the show is all about. And you've been getting in touch in your numbers this morning on WhatsApp about Nuno sacking and Ange Postecoglou. Can you believe it? His imminent appointment at the City Ground. Let's have a voice note from Lee.
This is all about Nuno wanting Adama Traore and being told that he couldn't have Adama Traore. He spat his dummy. He's gone public, gone vocal. Edu, his hands aren't clean in all of this, and 100% Ange is not the answer for Nottingham Forest. No way. You Reds, keep your chin up.
Keep your chin up. That's from Lee. I tell you, he's got a better player than Adama Traore and Dan Ndoye. That's my neutral opinion. Similar sentiment, this one from George. Let's hear what he thinks.
Hi, this is George from Chester. If the owner of Nottingham Forest thinks that Nuno saying what he says is wrong, man, if he takes Ange Postecoglou on, he's going to have more of a problem than that.
Rob, your reaction to those two voice notes that are coming in thick and fast, and you know how to get in touch? Yeah,
of course. Clearly, Adama Traore, I heard Nuno did want him, so... I mean, good player.
Sorry, I get that, but can you hang your hat on your position as head coach in Nottingham Forest by not getting Adama Traore?
No, absolutely. I don't think that's the case. It's not been about that. It's been about the relationships. It's been about recruitment, what Nuno has wanted, based on what the club and Edu and the owner have wanted. Breakdown in relationship. That's why he's gone, not getting Adama Traore. I mean, if that's the the conversation, that's the worry, then we're all in trouble. And but the second one, I think Ange's a very good appointment. I think he'd be very good.
There we go. The breaking news. Ange Postecoglou has agreed a deal to become the new Nottingham Forest head coach, replacing Nuno, who was sacked yesterday.
More on the major news from the Premier League, and at 12:15 a.m, Nottingham Forest confirmed they'd sacked head coach Nuno Espirito Santo. We can cross live to their training ground. Anton Louis is waiting to speak to us. Hi there, Anton. How are things then? I do believe you've got a bit more news for us, and I guess as well bring us up to date with the hunt for Nuno's successor. But what is this breaking news?
It appears there's only one person in terms of who Nottingham Forest are talking to at the moment, and that is Ange Postecoglou, the former Tottenham, Celtic and Australia head coach. You understand discussions have taken place between Nottingham Forest and Postecoglou at this stage. Obviously, we're not sure how far that's going to go, but yes, it seems as though Ange Postecoglou is the leading candidate at this stage. And I think it's interesting, isn't it? Because people are going to look at this in terms of, it's a complete sea change from Nuno Espirito Santo in terms of style, isn't it? Nuno Espirito Santo, defensively sound, and obviously liking to hit teams on the break. Obviously, we saw when Ange Postecoglou's team were playing at their best, a completely different type of football. But it's interesting, isn't it? Because you look at the players that Nottingham Forest brought in January as well. They've effectively got 3 front threes that they can play. They've invested heavily in their attackers in the off-season and during the August transfer window. And yet at the same time, I think they want to make the most of the resources they now have. Because obviously, look, on deadline day, they spent 35 million on Dylan Backwell. They brought in James McAtee, Omari Hutchinson, Igor Jesus. Obviously, they've still got Callum Hudson-Odoi down to a long contract as well. So the club's obviously looking to take the next step in their evolution. They want to be obviously more attacking, more on the front foot. Obviously, that means potentially a good fit for Ange Postecoglou. So at the moment, there are discussions between Postecoglou and Nottingham Forest taking place.
Yeah, and Anton, actually, I was with Ange just a couple of nights ago, just throwing this in because we were chatting a bit about what's next for him. He did say he was really keen to get back into football, really wanted to be involved in the Premier League. His children have settled into school here in England. He stayed in London as well. He seemed refreshed after this summer holiday break, so maybe a good fit for him personally. He wanted to get out of doing those pesky school runs as well. But I'm sure there'll be lots of other people as well keen on a job and a challenge such as this. So who else is in the frame?
Yeah, and interestingly, just following up on Ange Postecoglou as well, you're only going to go back to July and in Greece. Ange Postecoglou and Evangelos Marinakis, the Nottingham Forest club owner, Marinakis giving an award to Ange Postecoglou for being the first ever Greek-born head coach to win a European trophy as well. So they've seen each other over the summer as well. But yeah, when we go back and we talk about other people that Nottingham Forest have admiration for, there are 4 coaches, but they're all in work at the moment. You've got Ollie Glasner, who's done obviously such a fantastic job at Crystal Palace, taking them to European football this season as well. You've got Maurizio Pochettino, the head coach of the United States, obviously former Chelsea and Tottenham Hotspur head coach. And Andoni Iraola as well at Bournemouth is another name that's obviously well liked by Nottingham Forest. But like I said, these are just names at the moment. Obviously, any deal for those would come with A, compensation, and B, probably take a lot of time. Nottingham Forest want to get somebody in as soon as possible. Remember, they play Arsenal at the Emirates on Saturday. Ange Postecoglou is a free agent.
And actually, Anton, let's talk about Nuno speaking openly about his relationship with Marinakis and that breaking down. Do you think the writing was really on the wall after that?
Well, with hindsight, yes, obviously. I think Nuno Espirito Santo thought he came in as global head of football. So it's interesting. I think he wouldn't have necessarily spoken as publicly if he had known that his job was as much in peril as it was when he signed a new contract as well. So obviously he seemed like he was in a good position. But yes, obviously when you go public about your concerns about the way the club is doing their business, you do run a risk. And I'm sure Evangelos Marinakis will look at it in a different way and look at it in the fact that, look, obviously, as late as April in the season, Nottingham Forest were in the Champions League places, but only 2 wins in the last 8 games of last season, slide all the way down to 7th in the league. And if it wasn't for UEFA's decision to demote Crystal Palace, they'd be playing Conference League football this season. And obviously, Nuno Espirito Santo's last game in charge was a 3-0 humbling, 3 goals in 7 minutes against a then pointless West Ham as well. Would have left, I think, a bitter taste in everybody's mouth as well. Nuno Espirito Santo saying he wasn't happy with that performance as well. So he said, look, when he spoke to us after that game, he said, look, he thought he was going to be back here coaching for that Arsenal game. But it didn't seem overly convincing. All about this dual talk. Were there going to be talks? Were there not going to be talks with Evangelos Marinakis? Marinakis clearly wanted time to assess the situation, take into consideration the fact that Nottingham Forest form hasn't been sparkling over the last 6 months, and he's decided to act now.
Yeah, just picking up on that, actually. Sometimes, sitting down, little cup of tea, maybe something stronger, a good old chat can sort things out. And obviously we understand that Marinakis opted against this meeting with Nuno to try and repair this relationship. Why do we think that was?
I think it was a contemplation period. I think he wanted to assess what was going on at the club, probably see other options that were out there as well. But I think he was more just trying to take into the fact that, look, OK, fine, we've given Nuno Espirito Santo everything he wanted. When he went to the press a couple of weeks ago, I think the fact of the matter is that, look, I think Nottingham Forest thought they did all they could for Nuno Espirito Santo, and yet at the same time things were still fractious, and the owner's made a decision where he's gone, do you know what, the form wasn't great at the end of last season, we didn't finish necessarily in the European competition we could have finished in, and now I'm dealing with this when I actually feel like I've given this manager all the resources he can have. Do you know what, I'm going to take my time, think about who else is out there, and try to bring someone else in, and it looks as though that person may well be Ange Postecoglou instead of Nuno Espirito Santo.